So, good times for Saints Row fans. For the last week or two, we have had a lot of new info, a lot of new gameplay details, some of which you easily might not have seen. With the last couple of info drops in mind, today's video takes a look at some things you might have missed. Okay, so let's start this off with this highlighted dumpster. Now, we did touch on this in a previous video, but with your suggestions in mind, let's share a few more possibilities of this could be. So this could be some kind of drop, for example drugs. It could be somewhere you can hide if you've got a wanted level. It could be a place that you can search. Or it could be this is an object that can be tethered, kind of like we've seen with the porta potty in previous release gameplay. Now, if you played Saints Row 2 back in the day, then you might be familiar with the Demolition Derby activity. It's not a thing we've had in the more recent games, but it is possible it returns in the Saints Row reboot. This is because if you look closely at the revealed map, then you can see it does feature the Smelter Dome. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean for sure that this is for that, but considering it's been marked as a major landmark, that it is an interesting possibility that this location could maybe be for that. Speaking of the map, another thing that you might not have noticed was the Bikini Atoll Casino. Now, whilst we don't know if the casino will be a working one, we do know that this is a reference to an actual place that's actually located on the Marshall Islands in the Pacific Ocean, with it being at one time a nuclear testing site. It is also featured in the SpongeBob TV show, so it could be a little nod to that as well. Another reference is this one, the I Dream of Weenie hot dog truck, with this apparently a reference to a 1960s US TV show. We also saw this moment recently, which I assumed might have been related to some sort of melee attack, but it is also possible this is instead the enemy showing their ability to block your bullets. So we all know the release gameplay does feature some super quick clips, where it's not always easy to see what exactly is happening. One you might have missed is this one, which if you slow the clip down, you can see that it is possible to go straight into the wingsuit from on top of a vehicle. Now, given the right situation and the right place, this could obviously be a pretty handy feature to use. Another thing you might have missed was this cat as shown in one of the cutscenes. Now, we know it is confirmed the map will feature animals, and whilst this could be just for the scene itself, it could also mean that cats are one of the animals that we're going to be seeing featured around the map. So in terms of some of the ventures on show in one of the latest videos, we know there is a venture called the Big One, and we also got to see this clip of an unnamed military venture. If we look super close at the tiny picture next to the big one in the menus, then you can just about see a gun. So we can now match the visual to this venture name. It is also worth noting that immediately after showing the venture itself, it did show this gameplay clip, which might point towards this being linked to the Mayhem activity. Now, for any long-time Saints fans, you might recognise this logo on the First Strike Academy, which yes, is the logo of the Ronin from the previous Saints Row games. So one concern some had with the new game was a lack of camera zoom in vehicles. Well, with a close eye on this clip, it looks like whoever was playing the game does in fact change the camera, which means the game should have various camera zoom levels, some closer and some further away. And lastly, probably the biggest concern so far was the very unpopular health bars on pretty much everything, including vehicles as well as enemies. Well, what you might have missed this past week was this clip, which yes, does show enemies with no health bars visible. Hopefully this might mean there is the option to turn these off, which this clip does look like it points towards. So share me your thoughts on today's video in the comment section down below, stay tuned for more like this, coming to the channel soon. And until next time, this has been 101, and I will see you all on the next one.